himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Mileham in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here, but I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the down pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order, but Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome back to the JPB GT4 Championship round 6 from Catalunya here as well. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be guiding you through all the action, and once more I've got Callum Mileham beside me here as well. So it is at Catalunya. It is an absolute incredible circuit. Some may say it may get a little bit boring. It's not a very fast stop over hairpin area to track, as you can see in front of you. So it doesn't always lend itself to the best racing, but I'm sure these guys will put on a show, as we got 30 GT4s currently battling out as well. And in the standings currently in the pros, the drop weeks have been applied. So it is Mark Fletcher out in front by with 200 points by 24 over Arthur Furter, with Alan McCain in third. Then we've got Adam Hedgecock in fourth, Marco Ficanto in fifth, Dan Babbage, Ryan Burgess, Project 88 there in fifth and in sixth and seventh, Kevin Launay in 8th, Arnold Chagnon 9th, Torno Oromets in 10th, Chris Needham in 11th, Tom Weston, Jordan Malcolm, Marnik Heister, and we've had no John Higgins as of yet. In the AMS is Jack Werrell out in front on 194 points, with Derek Carver in second on 182, Ryan Dudley third, 152, with Chris Barnes on 149, Roger Morton on 140. Then we've got Stuart Rice, Stuart Gibbons, Christopher Evans, Jason Haddington, Stephen Mellis, Rob Williams, Kevin Randall, Rob Williams, Martin Sampson, Kevin Randall, Jamie Dungle, Danny Weston, Fausto Pinto, Mark Werrell and Damien Hurst. Below that, we've got Roy Vivek as well as Andy Littler. In the team championships in the pros, it is Altitude Esports out in front on 344 with Team SRL on 320, Project 88 on 262, Air Smart 189, Sim Racing Community 147 with Mag Performance 141, with Platinum Racing Team at the end there as well. In the AM Championship, Blade Designs are out in front by 221 with Triple P Porsche, Triple P Racing Porsche on 190 with Triple P Racing Vantage on 187, Squadra de Corse Veloce 179 with Air Smart Racing 2 on 178, No Pace on 165, Optical on 88, DSC on 72 and Team Zilla Racing on 53. So there we go, that is the current state of the championship, and let's bring in Callum Mileham into the booth. Callum, good evening. How are you, sir?
Yeah, really good. Looking forward to tonight on a track that, well, I've only got a little experience on recently because I've done a little bit of practice with the Triple P boys, and well, I think it's actually a rather nice track to drive around. I'm kind of looking forward to tonight. It's not, you know, sharp on the like you say, the hairpin turns or anything. There's more sort of higher speed corners on this course, and yeah, some people might find it boring, but I think we'll find it quite entertaining tonight of how close these cars have been all throughout the season. Seeing what they can handle and really pushing their cars to the limits tonight is going to show, well, are we going to see one manufacturer of vehicle dominating tonight, or is it going to be spread out evenly? Maybe it's just dependent on the skill of the driver, but there's a lot to go into tonight, and it's going to be interesting to see who can push their cars to the limit the most in some of these higher speed corners.
Yeah, definitely will. We've got Aston Martins, McLaren, Mercedes, Porsche and BMW. We've got a full house of manufacturers. Good evening, Phil, across the pond. Hope you are well here, and thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, tonight is sponsored by Sim Racing Community. Please go and check them out as well, and you can find all their links down in the description below. That would be absolutely amazing for all of your sim racing needs. They're run by Tom Weston, one of our drivers here this evening as well. So please go and check them out at simracingcommunity.com, and that will be absolutely amazing. Last time out at COTA It was Stuart Gibbons, Derek Craver, Jack Werrell in the AMS for race 1, and then it was Fletch, Fertel, and no, we're not at COTA. Where was we last week?
Oh,
Hockenheim.
That was it, Hocks. Yes.
We were at Hockenheim, weren't we? Oh my God, blimey, governor. I've had a brain moment here, I'll tell you that much as well. So, yeah. Overall, let me get up. Gee whiz, Batman. Not an ideal start there, but yeah, old age kicking in, and I've just had a proper moment of forgetting completely where we were. We were at the Hockenheim ring as well, and in the feature race it was Mark Fletcher, Adam Watson and Tim Perry there in race 2. In race 1 it was Adam Watson, Arthur Fertel and Mark Fletcher. So very interesting battles going on currently at the moment. As we say, drop weeks have been applied on the website as well, so we will be able now to give you an accurate update on where everybody is. So let's see what happens in the driver's standings and see how they get on once more here as well. It is looking like Fletcher's out in front by 24 points in the pros. In the AMS, Jack Werrell by 12 points over Derek Crowther. Championship's hotting up. It's getting closer here, sir. You know, well, we are at round 6, of course, and we are at Catalunya, then we go on to Watkins, Glen, Silverstone, Zolder, and then Jerez. So these drivers haven't got very long left here, Callum, to basically get some nice little times and nice little points on the board.
No, they haven't, and the pressure's certainly going to be on in the upper half of the table in both Pro and AM. So, yeah, these guys are going to start to... Maybe we'll start to see nerves show in the next couple of rounds, you know, because they know they haven't got a lot left. Not many points up for grabs anymore. So for a lot of these guys, probably every point is crucial, especially the battle between Fertel and Fletch, for example, and the battle between the top 3 in the AMS as well. So with every point being more crucial as the time goes on, you know, it's only going to be a matter of time till some of the nerves show in some of these drivers. So it's going to get down to towards the end of the season, and we're going to just be looking at who can keep the most composed out of the drivers rather than who's the quickest. Because, well, who knows? You know, when nerves get the better of you as a racer, it never ends well, does it? No. You know, you normally end up kissing the wall. So.
Yeah, it does, and obviously they haven't got that round here. They've got long run-off areas, as you can see on the right-hand side currently at the moment as well. So they've got some big, long run-off areas, as Dan Babbage has just found it on the rundown from 5 to 6. I think he's just stopped on track, to be honest, here as well. So let's see how he gets on. We've obviously still got the likes of Tim Perry and Adam Watson here as well. They haven't appeared as of yet. There is an issue with all the scores currently at the moment, so hopefully these guys should appear on the championship as of next week. We've got another new driver who's just wanted to join us at the moment, and that's Gavin Petty from PDR. So Gavin will be racing. Dudley is on the side of the circuit. There is Stuart Rice as practice is finished, and we are going into qualifying here. What do we expect for qualifying then? Because obviously, you know, pole position can be quite important here, right? Just because of the nature of the circuit. So everybody's got to be a little bit careful, right? And try and take as high a place as they possibly can. Surely that's going to be the nature of people, isn't it? They've got to try and get up the field and got to try and get that car as far up as they possibly can at the moment.
Well, yeah, obviously, you know, everyone wants to be ultimately on that pole position, whether they're in Pro or AM. They want to be, you know, P1 of their class. So they're going to push for that, don't get me wrong. But also looking at, you know, leading into turn 1, sort of turn 1 to turn 4 area, you know, I think we're going to see quite a few side-by-sides in lap 1. And, well, who knows? We might even see a 3 wide in there every so often. But that does look like an opportunity where, you know, for the likes of, say, Fletch and Fertel at the top, battling with Watson as well. You know, if whoever's in second overall at the end of the qualifying, they're not going to be too bummed because obviously they can have the inside line of one of the first two corners, which are very soon after the start lines. As long as they keep with the leader, they still have a chance of leading the first lap. So it's not all over if you don't finish P1 of your class in qualifying. There's definitely chances, there's a lot of room for error, should we say, in the first couple of corners. So I think there's everything still to play for, even if you don't finish P1 in quali. So I think the biggest thing here is we normally say we like to see safe racing and you don't want to push it too hard. You can't win a race on lap one, even if it is a 15-minute race to start with. But I think we are going to see some of that tonight. I do think we're going to see some of these cars going side by side, possibly even three wide into the first couple of turns.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, because of this long run down this start-finish straight, of course, here in Barcelona in Catalunya. As we can see them now, they've just completed their outlap, so these guys will be now underway, setting their fast laps going on, and we are led by Adam Hedgecock and also Mark Fletcher. He has just pulled over and allowed Fletch through. Adam Watson and Tim Perry, they have changed teams. They are Renegade Racing currently at the moment here as well. So they are changing over on team names. We've got Rob Williams from Triple P, Mark Fletcher, Stuart Rice, Toro Oromets, Adam Watson, Arthur Ferdle as well. So a full house of cars currently with these 30 drivers running around this circuit. We're going to have to see how they get on. Who do you fancy for pole here, Callum? That's the question.
Now, deep down inside of me, I want to say Thurtle. However, I've said him all season long, and the luck just hasn't been on his side. So I think I'm the bad luck charm. So I'm going to say Fletch and hopefully flip that. Use a bit of a reverse psychology here. So I'm going to go with Fletch. And, if we see Thurtle top, then we know what's been going wrong for Thurtle all this season. It's me. So that's my vote, Fletcher.
Okay, well, there we go. I will scribble that one down as well. So let me write that one down here. Callum is going with Fletch. Now, who do I go with here? Who do we go with? We have got Mark Fletcher doing purples. Now, is it going to be Watson? Is it going to be Perry? Or is it going to be Thurtle? Well, so I'm going to go with Thurtle for race one. Okay. Okay. I just think he's due. He's due some luck. He's due something is Mr. Arthur Ferdle. So we've got Gavin Petty as well here this evening. Joined the season this evening. So this is his first race here. And he will be up in the pro category. Ryan Dudley has just jumped the car all the way up into 7th overall, third in class. Chris Barnes is leading the AM class at this moment in time. But we've still got about 5.5 minutes to go here, with Arthur Ferdle putting it in second place at the moment. So the Pro and Ams are looking very, very racy, and they can end up getting mixed up if Chris Barnes keeps doing his 150s here. Barnes is flying early on.
He is, and when we were doing the practice a couple of days ago, the battle between Barnes, Deck Crowther and Stuart Gibbons, they were all very close in terms of their pace. Rob Williams also a couple of tenths just off of those boys as well. So they were all very quick in our pre-race practice. So I'll be looking forward to seeing the battle between these two. They've been going at it all season long, and they're always, giving each other friendly banter all throughout the season as well. So it'd be nice to see those two finally be able to have a good old fight and a good chance to grab each other by the scruff of the neck and seeing what they can do. And, one thing I am finding quite interesting at the minute, slightly different topic to what we were just talking about, is where we see Mr. Thurtle coming up to now, there's a yellow sausage curb on the outside. And I was driving the same car as Mr. Thurtle. Seems like every car's able to straddle that now, apart from me. When I was going over that, I was bumping up and jumping all over the place. So I need to figure out what I was doing wrong there, because I'm watching all these cars and they're gliding over it perfectly. Yet when I tried it and it was right underneath the middle of my car, I'd bump up and it'd hit my bumper and all sorts. So not too sure what was going on there, but it's very interesting to see that these guys are all opting for that line.
Is that a skill issue, do you think?
I wouldn't say. It's probably because I had the AC on, to be honest. I think it's probably a bit like what we had with Fletch last week. I think it's probably the AC, you know, is lowering the car a little bit with all the you know, the cold air that's in my car. It's obviously weighing it down because, you know, science. Cold air tries to go down and hot air rises. So obviously it's weighing my car down, you see, all that cold air inside my vehicle. So I was hitting the sausage curb because of that.
Yeah, well, while you're talking now, it's just done a 1:49.250 and is sitting in first place at this moment in time. So he is the man to beat, the man who has set the time here. Jack Werrell still leading the AMs with Ryan Burgess in 7th overall there as well. Derek Crowther second in the AMs currently at the moment, and with the drop weeks, Jack Werrell is out in front by 12 points, so that's going to be an interesting one. Watson is going purple and green as he's coming off round turn 10. The long looping left-hander that seems to go on for absolutely ever until you go round the right of 11. Is this going to be Watson putting it on pole? He has got a purple, he has got a green. So let's see what he can do on this final part of the circuit. That's the sausage curb Callum's talking about. Watson goes round it, doesn't go over it, so a good job from him. Round he goes over the start-finish line now. How's he going to get on? Is Adam Watson going to put it on pole? I think it's going to be an improvement. It's not an improvement. He loses it all in the last sector, does Adam Watson. Arthur Fertile just goes 1,000th of a second slower here as well. So that's going to be an interesting one to see how he gets on. Williams goes into the pits. Kevin Randall is still out on track as well from DSC Racing. Kevin here, one of, if not the lowest IARD rating driver, but is doing really well currently at the moment as well. He's sitting P13 in the championship currently here as well, so it's all a great learning curve for him. We've hit that kind of shelf area where there's no real improvements here, Callum, at the moment, as we've got about 1:48 to go. Damien Hirst has obviously got greens on the board, but I believe that's probably his first lap.
Yeah, we're coming up towards the end now, but there are some people that opt into sort of putting in their lap times towards the end of the session. So I know there are some people that prefer it because then they've got times to chase on the board. They don't like going out straight away. I'm probably one of those said people. I don't like going out and qualifying straight away. I like to wait a couple of laps or a few minutes, let some times get up on the board and really kind of, you know, your own pace, don't you? So you want to set a target and then you've got a long list of names to try and aim for. So I certainly prefer going out later, and it'll be interesting to see if the likes of Evans, Weston and Delaunay that are all there at the bottom with no times on your screens, it'll be interesting to see if they go out in the last minute or so here. Avoid the wall.
Oh,
no,
Damien Hirst
no.
did not, unfortunately.
Couple of kisses. There's my hatred of the sausage curb. See, he rides it beautifully, and I'm very jealous of that.
It does sound like there's a little bit of a difference in driving ability.
I don't know. I fancy myself as a bit of a turtle, to be honest.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know about that.
Can you beat up a Fertile?
I never said I could beat him. I feel like I am. My driving style is very similar to Arthur Fertile's. We are very similar indeed, and there's a slight time difference, but there's nothing major. It's only like the equivalent of about a year. But I mean, it's still more or less the same, isn't it? Really, it's just, you know, potato. So same thing.
I do love the fact that you're potato, and you're like, yeah, but, yeah, I'm there. Well, there we go. That has brought us to the end of qualifying, guys. Then let's bring you up the grid for race one. It is Arthur Fertile in first, Mark Fletcher in second, Adam Watson third, Tim Perry fourth, Adam Hedgecock fifth, Derek Crowther sixth, and Gavin Petty in seventh, Jack Werrell eighth, Ryan Burgess ninth, Mirko Ficano 10th, Chris Barnes 11th, and Chris Needham down in 12th. Then we've got Tom Weston, Alan McCain, Torno Oromets, Dan Babbage, Ryan Dudley, Mark Werrell, Stuart Gibbons, Rob Williams, Stefan Mellis, Jamie Dengle, Jason Huntington, and Stuart Rice. Kevin Randall, Damien Hirst, Fausto Pinto, Cabernet Delaunay, Danny Weston, and Chris Evans at the back of the grid there, mate. And Chris ain't going to be too happy with that one. But it doesn't look like he got out and did a lot, did he? He didn't look like he even set a time on the board, I believe.
No, I have a funny feeling he's probably only just made it in time to the session, because I did jump down while we were sitting in the green room just to have a little chat with some of the other Triple P boys and ask if he was going to be in. And apparently he is, so, and obviously he's here at the minute, so I think he's just got in last second. We've had that a couple of times this season, so wish him the best from the back and see what positions he can gain. But, I mean, so far, I was the curse, because look who's pole.
Yeah, Arthur Ferdle. So there we go.
I didn't vote for him and he's pole. I mean, it says, oh, it's me.
It must be.
Because we're too similar. It's because we're too similar.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, because you're skilled. Maybe it's all the bull in Callum's car weighing his car down, says Phil across the pond. Oh, dear.
There's not
it
much
could be
of that
true.
in my car.
It could be true.
Honestly, my car's one of them little Christmas tree air fresheners in mine, so it definitely doesn't smell like that in my car.
Well, it could be true, though, couldn't it?
I don't know, James. I feel like you're picking on me a bit.
Oh.
I don't feel like that's the case.
Oh, okay. Phil thinks it's the case, so there you go. But
Well, in that case, I don't agree with Phil either.
okay, don't agree with Phil, it's fine. Phil gives every co-commentator a little bit of grief, don't get me wrong, here either, as we are now on this pace lap for race 1, 15 minutes of what I think is going to be incredible action here. I'm hoping Arthur Ferdle can get his pit stops right. That is Arthur Ferdle's Achilles heel this season, is pit stops in the feature race. So let's see if he can get this right. Can he pull out of a master stroke? Can he get the double win that he's going to need? Ferdle is now effectively the pace car, and we are going to be underway very, very shortly. I think Turtle's already made that jump. He has. Fletcher's got in front of Watson, and now we are underway. We are green here as well. The Aston Martin out in front of Arthur Ferdle with Mark Fletcher, Adam Watson, Tim Perry, Hedgecock, Crowther, Burgess. All behind. They are 3 wide already with Derek Crowther, Ryan Burgess. They backed off a little bit away from each other, but Crowther, Petty is in there as well, and Barnes. Petty is on our right-hand side here, and is making a move up the inside currently as we are on board with Derek Crowther, but it is still Arthur Ferdle out in front, and everybody made it through turn 1, Callum.
Yeah, what a fantastic start we had. It was actually incredible looking at all these cars coming down all together, and some of them still side by side. Obviously, the likes of Derek Crowther and Barnes are going side by side with the 2 Mercedes on their right-hand side there. And we are on the outside car, and they're going to have to slip in between one another. Derek Crowther gets the position, moves 1 up, but he's going to be straight under pressure again from Mr. Werrell, who's obviously fighting to keep his lead on where he sits at the moment. But he's conceded the position to Chris Barnes, who's going to go through, and he's nearly lost the back end of that Porsche. He's going to do well to keep the position to Werrell, and obviously he doesn't do that. Werrell gets head and shoulders above him as Barnes looks to bring the fight back to him as well. So Derek Crowther currently the better off out of those 3, so he had a fantastic start, but still some of these cars going side by side.
Yeah, they are. Chris Needham is just making a dive there as well on Mirko Ficanto. Needham's now running side by side with Alan McCain. McCain seems to be struggling at this circuit at the moment here as well, so let's see how he can get on and whether or not he can pull or drag that Mercedes forward. But out in front, it's Arthur Ferdle for the first lap, holding on to that lead from Mark Fletcher with Adam Watson. 3 tenths back there as well. Fletcher's on the gravel. Oh, he's on the gravel. He nearly spun the car. He's gone all the way to the right-hand side. He's gone instantly defensive, but Watson's going to have that run running outside now. Is he going to be able to hold on, or will Watson take that position away? It is Aston Martin and McLaren side by side going into turn 1 here, and Watson and Fletch does manage to hold on, but only just. What about further back with Tom Weston? Is he going to go running outside of Jamie Dengle? Ryan Dudley, sorry. He's not. Dan Babbage is also involved in this battle currently at the moment in the BMW, as he's fighting away with Toro Oromets here as well, and it's all getting very, very close with Mark Werrell at the same time. Toro Oromets, steady, you nearly lost your back end there, sir. I'm not going to lie. as Mark Werrell goes through now as well, but he's gone in a little bit wide. That's going to allow Stuart Gibbons in that McLaren to run up the outside. He's going to have the outside for turn 5. Mark Werrell's on the defensive. He's got the left-handed sorted out here as well, and I believe he's still managing to hold on to that position, as we can see Stuart Gibbons in the background there as well. What about Jack Werrell? Werrell here fighting it out. Obviously father and son. Mark is the father, Jack is the son, and he's got Chris Barnes for company with Derek Craver just up the road there for the AMs. The AMs mixing up at the moment, 8th, 9th and 10th, and it is so far Craver, Werrell and Barnes. Back up front, it's Fertel out in front by 4/10 here with Adam Watson chasing down Fletch. It's all going to get very, very tight here currently at the moment, Callum, but at the moment Arthur Fertel is out in front.
He is, and with a 4/10 lead as well. That's not too bad of a start there for Fertel. A little earlier incident with Fletch. Let's see if he can get through here clean this time round, and he does so, almost putting the wheels on the sand still. And well, it does look like the McLaren's clawing back some time. And down this straight is the killer for the Aston Martin, I think, because the McLaren just seems to have such a good run out of that final turn. And well, who knows, if he can keep the gap this close, then maybe we'll see a move made on the next lap on the home straight. But what I find interesting is now that Mr. Watson and Fletcher aren't under the same team name and livery, are these two going to be fighting it out a bit more rather than going a bit more passive that I felt we saw at Hockenheim last time out? So and what we're seeing so far, those two battling it out, which has been nice to see. So it looks like there's going to be no team orders between these two anymore. It's just going to be go for it, and may the best man win.
Yeah, they did come out. Adam Watson did come out earlier on and said that him and Tim Perry have changed teams for this series, and he will race Mark Fletcher as hard as he will any other driver on track. So that's what we're going to see from him. Down here we've got Kevin Randall having a nice little battle with Stuart Rice at the moment. He's trying to run around the outside of turn 5. Randall didn't quite get the run out what he actually needed. We've got Evans behind with Hurst and Pinto, and Randall still on the back of Rice. So that's a nice little tidy battle going on in 26th and 27th. We've got Chris Needham and Dudley. Dudley here in the Merc, Needham in the Porsche. Needham instantly on the defensive into turn 10, and again he's going to try and hold that inside line while Dudley's going to try and run the outside here as well. Dudley fighting out in the championship currently at the moment, sitting in 3rd place, but he's got Barnes, Craver and Werrell all around him, and at the moment he is losing time to Barnes, Werrell and Craver. So they're battling it here further down with Ficanto and McCain, but it is Fertel and Fletch. You can see how close Fletch is. He is right behind him. He's pulled out already. Are we going to be looking at this move here as well? Fletch is on the left-hand side. Fertel's squeezing him like an orange in a juicer, I can tell you that much, and manages to hold it on there. He could do with... Fertel needs this win. That's the important thing, Callum, isn't it? He needs this win.
Yeah, we were talking about it last time at Hockenheim. You know, he needs these wins to close down that 20-odd point gap. I think it was 24 that we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. So, you know, he needs every win he could possibly get, and... well, he needs every point he could possibly claw out of this race. So P1 is the destined position, and well, hopefully the two behind him are going to battle it out enough, and it looks like we are going to have a little bit of a move. No, not quite sent there from Watson. They looked quite close, the Fletcher and Watson, the Aston Martin and McLaren battle, but this is what Fertel needs. He needs them two to battle it out behind him, and in the hopes of slowing Fletcher down to give him a bit of breathing space. And that's the sausage curb that I feel lost Arthur Fertel some time at last lap. When he hit that, the car did bounce out quite a bit, and well, Fletcher did manage to get onto the back of Fertel quite quickly. And what I've noticed as well is that sausage curb that I can't seem to run over. I'm noticing it's lifting the Aston Martin of Fertel there ever so slightly, so I don't know if that's hindering any performance at all in the run out of that corner, but it's a good thing to watch as well, because it can throw the car, because I've done it many times, you know, because I'm just testing it out and seeing where you can and can't go wrong, and you can see it does slightly lift up his car as he goes around there. You'll hopefully see it in this little demonstration. There's a very slight lift. You have to look very carefully to see it. But whether that actually dampens his performance or not, I'm not too sure. But Fletcher's definitely seems to be pushing it a bit too hard on the run out of the final turn there. And, well, the battle between the Aston Martin and McLaren will continue.
Yeah, they are. They're going down into turn 1. We jump on board with Fletch. We've got Adam Watson on the left-hand side. Watson is right beside us here is not going to lie. He is right beside us. Fletcher's been lost out. Watson's got through, and Fletch did lose that position here as well. So unfortunately for Fletch, he is now behind Watson. What about Barnes? Barnes, he's got Werrell in front of him here, and they've still got Crowther up the road. They still can't get near each other. Needham has lost that place to Dudley and has now got Weston closing in with Dan Babbage once again. Jason Haddington battling away here with Jamie Dengel. So Dengel in the Aston Martin, Haddington in the Mercedes again here as well. I think I'm going to have to take that McLaren GT4 that I've got for a spin. I think I'm getting itchy feet here as Haddington is right up the back of Dengel with Cabernet Delaunay in there as well as they're going around turn 5. Delaunay's going to try and run around the outside currently at the moment. Is he going to be able to hold this one? He's not holding this one currently here either. He's now still on the outside as they go on that run down into turn 10, and it is Haddington and Delaunay battling it out further down. In the middle is still Needham battling away here with Weston. Now Weston's caught onto the back. Weston's going to be looking up the inside here at Chris Needham. Needham's going to look at shutting the door. Weston's just got his elbows out. Said, sorry sir, you're not doing it. What about Babbage? Can Babbage make it through as well? Not this time either. Needham's coming up the inside. There was almost contact there from Needham in the Porsche, and that, Callum, was very, very close.
That was very close. I think it's a good thing that the Porsche is a slightly smaller car, because if you had a Merc pulling up the inside there of Weston, then it for sure would have been contact between those two cars there. But good handling there by Weston, though. He managed to hold the back end of that Mercedes in line, because you could see it was slightly slipping out there just after the near contact. So he's doing very well to keep that back end in line, and Babbage is now looking up the inside of Needham, trying to get that position late on the brakes, which the BMW goes for and gets the position done nice and quickly. Needham's going to be straight on the attack again. Little bump draft there coming out of the turn there, left-hander leading into the long right-hander. Chris Needham in P16 at the moment, but he's really putting on the pressure for Babbage. So how long can Babbage defend for?
Oh, Tim Perry's bumped the curb. Perry has bumped the curb in that Merc. Let's have another look here. And he bounced his that sausage curb. That back end of that Mercedes goes round, and into the wall goes Perry. Not an ideal scenario for him, but we are still got this front battle with Fertel, Watson and and Fletch, sorry, as they're going off round turn 9 and on that run down into turn 10. It's still Fertel out in front, still Watson, still Fletcher, still Hedgecock. What about Crowther and Werrell? Well, Crowther's having a go here at Gavin Petty. Petty in the Mercedes, Werrell in Crowther in the BMW. And Crowther does not make it through this time, but he is looking very, very speedy at the moment here as well. So that battle is coming in nicely as we've got 4 minutes to go here of this first 15 minute. Don't forget the grid for race 2 is set by their finishing positions in race 1, and we can tell you who has gained the most at the moment. Burgess is up 4, Dudley's up 4, Evans is up 6, the highest gainer there as well. And I've got a funny feeling Cabernet Delaunay may have had an incident here as well, because he is dropped all the way down the field and is in the pits. Well, it's actually Danny Weston. Has he gone and dived Jason Haddington? And he didn't make it through. Randall, oh, there's just no room. And Haddington as well with Delaunay. Let's have a look at what Haddington did. Was there a gap there? There looked like a couple of people going for gaps that might not have been there. No, there isn't really a gap there, and Haddington goes and puts it into the wall, unfortunately for Haddington there as well. So a tough job for some of them already, Callum, but incidents and accidents, the first lot that we've seen for the whole race.
Yeah, that is. So we've had a fantastic start. You know, it's been probably, so far from what I've seen, it's definitely got to be up there in terms of the racing ability that's out on track today. You know, it's been very good. We've still got a lot of close battles. You can see they're all starting to group off into their sections in terms of pace. And, well, for the first few incidents of the night, they're not too bad. They are things that can be helped. They are things that can be worked on. So these drivers are probably going to see that when they look back at their replays in our 5-minute break, if they choose to do so. And, well, the one thing to remember is we have a longer race coming up, more like an endurance race. Like we always say, it's a marathon rather than a sprint. So they have time to pull these positions back. They still have a chance to get points, so it is not over yet. It is still early. You know, we're not anywhere near the end of tonight.
Yeah, definitely not. There is the 45-minute race coming up with a pit stop. Vettel still out in front here currently as well. Dudley's now battling away with Perry in both Mercedes together. They're scrapping it out nicely. Barnesy is still trying to get onto the back of Werrell, but he's got Ficanto for health here. For company, I should say. And then we've had Chris Evans who's just passed Kevin Randall, and Randall down in 24th with Hurst, Rice, Pinto, Weston, Danny Weston, that is behind them as well. So we've still got Fertile out in front from Watson, but it is getting very close throughout the whole of the field at the moment.
That certainly is, but like I was saying, they're sort of going off into their groups now, so the field is still close within their sort of sections of people with similar ability / pace. And well, the people that have always been close is Fletcher and Thurl. They are still close this race, don't get me wrong, but there is now a car between them. Watson's come on the scene and instantly laid down his ability for the show of everyone at home watching with us here, and everyone at Hockenheim last week, and then this week at Catalunya as well. So he's really putting on a display out there, showing that he can be up with the big boys as well. And well, if he was here for the whole season, he would certainly be within this championship battle. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next season. You know, are we going to be fighting the title? Is it going to be a three-way fight rather than just two people going for it at the top two? So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of interesting thoughts going into next season as well. Obviously, you've got people changing cars potentially, but the battle, I think, between these three is going to go on right till the final whistle on the final round.
Definitely will. We are going to come over and start the final lap of the race here with Arthur Ferdle and Adam Watson. Martin Lee's in chat. Evening, gents. Supported the DMK boys, Ryan Dudley and Kevin Randall. Randall down in 24th, 11th in class. Dudley 4th in class at this moment in time here, and is 13th overall. He's behind Tim Perry, who's going to be an interesting one to try and get past. But the final lap of the race for race 1, a 45-minute race left to come as well here, and Adam Hedgecock's claiming that all-inviting 4th place. Jack Werrell and Chris Barnes. Barnes is just going up the inside, further back from that as well. Tim Perry is having a battle with Mirko Ficanto. Dudley's trying to go up as well. There was going to be contact all day. All day there was going to be contact there. Unfortunately, the gap was there. Dudley was alongside. Ficanto did not leave room. What about Mellis and Dengel? Mellis has just gone past Dengel currently into turn 1, and that's Stefan Mellis up. He's run wide. That's going to allow Dudley running outside currently at the moment as well. The leaders are on their run down into turn 7 and 8 here, and they're still as they were with Fertile out in front, with Watson, with Fletch as they're coming in now. Not many corners left for Fertile. Can he hang on?
Well, surely he can, because now it does come down to skill, and we know that Arthur Thurl has a lot of skill in his locker, and well, it's Aston Martin versus Aston Martin now. There's no McLarens in this battle. It is the battle for the top 2, and it looks like Watson's going to go for the inside. He's on the inside of Thurl still. No contact between the two by the looks of it, and Thurl's going to hold the outside line, leading round onto the inside now. And well, this battle's almost going to go 3 cars wide, and now the McLaren and the Aston Martin of Watson and Fletcher are now going at it in the background there. So Thurl's just got to get around 2 more corners, and he's set this one to bed.
Yeah, he has. Here we go for the final time. He runs over that curb. He's done the same thing here as well. And at the moment, Fertile is going to cross the line for race 1. He is going to take that victory with Adam Watson in 2nd, Mark Fletcher in 3rd. Then behind that, we've got Chris Barnes fighting it out as well. Crowther's going to come over the line and take the AM victory here as well. And it is Thurl going out, who will take in the victory here. What a stellar job from him.
Yeah, what a fantastic job from Thurl. Well, great racing overall. You know, we had a couple of incidents, a couple of slip-ups. Nothing too major. Remember, we still have a 45-minute race yet to come as well. And like we've mentioned before, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And, well, we'll just wait for the last few cars to come across the line. Your winner for the AMS as well, Dec Crowther, followed by Chris Barnes, not too far apart, just under 4 seconds. And then you got Jack Werrell just after that. 3 tenths split in those two for the top 3 of the AM. So we'll just wait for my trusted commentator, Mr. Parfitt, to return back to the booth. But in the meantime, we do have a 5-minute warm-up now, so it just depends what the drivers decide to do. Some may go out onto the track and grab a few more laps and a bit more knowledge of the track after that early race, and others may choose to sit back, have a cup of tea, and relax. So those of you that are watching live with us today, put in the chat, let us know what you would be doing in this 5 minutes. Would you be sitting back, relaxing, maybe talking to the family, stroking your dog or your cat or whatever other animal you have near you? Would you be sitting there on the track and getting some more lap time as some of these cars head out to do now? So what would your decision be? What would you guys be doing? Because I know for certain I would be sitting there probably trying to relax and probably sipping on a nice pint of milk. I do love my milk, so that'll be my in-between ritual there. And you can see the McLaren of one of the esports boys going out now, getting some practice in. That's possibly Fletch. I don't know if any of these guys have done any yet, but I know some people do like to practice going in and driving through the pits to see how long it will take to get rough timings for the longer race. Because, I mean, we've seen it throughout the season. It does come down to the pit stops, the battle between Fletcher and Thurtle. It is interesting to see that they both have very similar pace on track, but Fletch every single time nails the pit stops. So hopefully tonight will be the night for Thurtle where he manages to catch Fletch slipping up in the pit stop. But I find that very unlikely based on the last results in the season. You know, every round we've seen Fletch absolutely smash the pit stops out the window. So it'll be interesting to see what Fletcher can do. So let's have a little look then. So Martin Lee would have a toilet break, refill the drink. And I noticed that is a little bit of an alcoholic emoji you've used there as well. So if you're drinking and driving, so I highly, I don't recommend that at all. What happened to Fincato? I think Fincato had a little crash out towards the end of the race. VJ would stretch his legs and reload Sim just in case. Yeah, that's a wise decision. And beat the dents out of the roof of the car. Well, that is also a good one for Aero as well. But, James, we were just talking with the chat and seeing what they would be doing on their 5-minute break, but I will let you run through your results, sir.
Yeah, we got Arthur Furtle in first place with Alan Watson in second, Mark Fletcher there in third. Then we got Adam Hedgecock, Ryan Burgess and Gavin Petty. Then we got the AM podiums of Crowther here taking the victory with Barnes in second and then Werrell in third. And then we got Alan McCain behind that, Tim Perry, Ryan Dudley, Tom Weston, Toro Oramet, Dan Babbage, Mark Werrell and then Rob Williams behind that. Then we've got Jamie Dengle, Chris Needham, Stefan Mellis, Chris Evans, Stuart Gibbons, Stuart Rice, Danny Weston, Damien Hurst, Kevin Randall and Mirko Ficanto. Ficanto did have an incident with Ryan Dudley. Then we've got Fausto Pinto. Cabernet Delaunay is the last runner with Jason Huntington there as well. So it's all getting very, very tight in the standings, but Arthur Furtle did take that victory in the end of the day there as well, and what a stellar job he did as well.
Yeah, what a fantastic job a lot of these drivers had done there in race one. What we were just talking about is the whole pit stop situation. You know, it's been vital. We talk about it a lot, well, especially me. We mentioned about how critical the pit stops are, so it's interesting to see that we've got a couple of guys at the minute going around lapping and then going through the pits every single lap, probably trying to get the best time in the pit stop they can and work out roughly how long it'll take to get the best strategy they can. But James, what would you be doing in this 5-minute break? What would be your thoughts? You've just finished race one. What are you doing in this 5 minutes break you have?
I'm just sat chilling. Make sure I've got everything.
Chilling?
Yeah, make sure I've got everything ready. Making sure it's all working. Making sure there's no issues. And yeah, it's all good, really. I'd just be sat chilling.
So you're more of a relaxed person. You're not thinking, oh, I need to, maybe try and work on this sector or quickly get a couple of laps in. You're just more like, right, putting my feet up and having a relax before the second race.
Yeah, I'm going to get a cup of tea or something, having a drink. You know what I mean? Just chilling out. I wouldn't be, worried too much, to be honest. As yeah, I'm not overly worried about it. Key Ames, come on the Altitude boys there, and Martin Lee, toilet break and refill the drink. Yeah, that's what I'd probably be up to be fair. Stretch your legs, reload the sim. Yeah, and there's VJ, the commentator's curse, never. But yeah, no, I wouldn't really be doing a lot. What about you?
Oh, I've got a nickname in Triple P of Milky. And I think I would sit there and I'd normally have a pint of milk sitting there ready for me after the race. I'd get that down the hatch and then just sit there, wait for the second race. So the milk is a critical part in my racing.
Oh, well, there you go. Completely different to me then. I'll just sit chilling. Yeah, having a job.
Pint of milk, and that's my ritual. Job done. That's all I need.
Oh, there we go. Right, here is the grid for race 2. It is Thurtle out in front with Watson in second, Fletch in third, Adam Hedgecock fourth, Ryan Burgess fifth, Gavin Petty in sixth. Then you've got Derek Carver, Chris Barnes and Jack Werrell. They're all together in the AMs. Alan McCain, Tim Perry and Ryan Dudley. Then on the back end of that, we've got Tom Weston, Torno Oromets, Dan Babbage, Mark Werrell, Rob Williams, Jamie Dengle, Chris Needham, Stephen Mellis, Chris Evans, Stuart Gibbons, Stuart Rice, and then we got Danny Weston, and then below that we've got Damien Hurst, Kevin Randall, Mirko Ficanto, Fausto Pinto, Cavade Launay, and Jason Haddington bringing up the rear. So that is the grid for race 2. Well, who are you picking for race 2?
Well, my theory has somewhat worked so far. I'm going to go with Fletch, because I seem to be a bad luck charm and Thurtle seems to have done it. So we're going to test it out now in the 45-minute race. Obviously, Fletch reigns supreme, so I'm going to go with Fletch for the 45-minute.
Oh, I don't really want to go against Thurtle, but I'm going to have to go Watson, I think. I think it's going to have to be, I'm going to have to go with Watson here as well. Good evening, VJ, by the way. Welcome in, my buddy. So let's see how this all works out and whether or not these guys will be able to do an incredible job for race 2. 45 minutes with a pit stop, let's not forget. And this man, can he get his pit stop right? That's going to be the question. Can he nail it? That's been his Achilles heel, Callum, hasn't it?
That certainly has. And, well, I know he really didn't like last week. He couldn't even bring himself to watch the broadcast. And I do feel for him massively there. Hopefully we don't see a repeat tonight. But I've got faith in him. He's got it in him. He can do it. So, yeah. I mean, that's going to be the deciding feature, I think, for this race is who's going to nail the pit stop between the top 3.
Yeah, well, here we go. Once more, we're going to be underway and ready to go. Thurtle there as well. Not entirely sure why people are jumping. Everything going on here. I'm aware that we're not under green yet, but we are under green now, and there was a lot of people out of shape. There's like 3 or 4 wide going across the track currently at the moment here, and Gavin Petty, it was one of them as well. And there's also a lot of people who have seemed to have made places there from some questionable start areas, should we say, and I'm not entirely sure that will be, I think we might be looking at that one to see what happened there as well, because there was a lot of people involved. We've got Stephen Mellis plummeting down the order, Chris Evans as well is another man here, and everything has gone a little bit Pete Tong in race 2, but I think we will be having a look back at some of these incidents. Kevin Randall off the side of the track, Stuart Rice, Fausto Pinto, Chris Evans, Stephen Mellis, Mark Werrell, Jamie Dengle, all been involved in incidents here as well, with Gavin Petty on the left hand side. I would say everyone got away cleanly, but they didn't.
No, they didn't. And one thing to mention as well is there was very early contact actually between your race leader currently and Fletch. Fletch slightly missed the brake point, or went slightly later on the brakes, and ended up giving Watson a bit of a tap on the rear end. And by the looks of the back of the McLaren, he may have got a little love tap somewhere as well. I thought I saw damage. I could be wrong. It might have just been my camera angle. But your leader currently is Watson, and yeah, he was the one that got a bit of a love tap there leading into turn 1. But it was interesting because Thurtle went quite early in terms of getting his foot down on the gas, and it seems like as soon as he'd done that, everyone started making their moves and overtakes instantly, and the red lights were still up. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation. Might be one to look into there, like you said. But at the moment, the lead has changed. Watson has got the lead, and Thurtle's going to keep the chase on. But the main thing is Thurtle is above his championship rival at the moment, which is Mr. Fletcher there in the white, blue, and is that dark blue or black McLaren there in the background. There's a bit of time between them. There's not a lot though. There's not a lot of breathing space. So no room for error at the minute for the top 2, especially with Fletch sniffing just above their shoulders. You know, he could pounce at any moment. So these guys want to keep everything as clean as possible. And well, Watson was really putting his car on the limit there, almost going wide into the gravel on the right-hand side of the track there, and that is going to help Thurtle gain a little bit. So a good start for the front three overall, and a fantastic start for Watson. But it seems like we have got the pros and AMs pretty well split up so far, and we have lost a couple of the AMs in the pit lane at the moment. So unfortunate for those guys, but this is a marathon, so hopefully they get back out. And one name that is shining up to me the most at the minute is Deck Crowther and Dudley, two quick guys, both on the pit exit at the minute, so they must have been caught up in earlier instance.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and see if we can find what happened to Mark Werrell here as well. Mark's on the outside there. Mark taps round Dengle, so that's them two unfortunately caught up in the incident originally. Then Stefan Mellis went off track on from that, and he got tapped here as well by Danny Weston. And then there is everything else, I think, all at the same time, with Chris Evans going round, Fausto Pinto also involved in this little flurry. That incident there caused a big old drama, and Fausto Pinto does come out onto track. He got tapped by, I believe that's probably Stuart Rice in that car as well, and it's all gone a little bit wrong for some of these people further down the order. Williams has been off track here, and once again with Delaunay. Williams just too hot, spins Delaunay round. Unfortunately, Delaunay and Williams do get to carry on, but it is Crowther, Dudley, Weston. Mellis is still running, and Ficanto, I think, is out currently at the moment. So it's all got a little bit scrappy on the start there. But there was that whole confusion at the beginning, wasn't there, when people were all over the place. I don't know if that's because of the fact that when they go green, the green line, the finishing line, or the start line, should we say, if you have a look here, the start line's actually where the DRS is. So everybody's a little bit all over the place here. And you can see Arthur Felt's made the most of it, but everybody was a little bit squirrely. There was contact with Alan McCain and Barnsley in the Porsche as well. And the start just looked a little bit chaotic and a little bit scrappy. So it's, Jack Werrell, Tom Weston. Jack goes round as well. It's all a little bit messy, this one.
That is. One thing that's interesting, though, I noticed that is Deck Crowther must have had a separate incident, because I couldn't actually see his BMW involved at all at the start with that big cluster that we had. So he must have had an incident a bit later on in the race. So unfortunate for him, and unfortunate for Weston, who's just gone off. But Weston does have some good pace, so hopefully if he can get himself around to the pits, whether he does it via tow or drags himself around, hopefully he's able to try and claw some positions back, because he's not the slowest out there, and he definitely does have what it takes in the locker to claw his way back up the field. And like you say, some earlier sort of paint scraping, I think, between Barnes and McCain. And well, again, I think that's a bit of that confusion of, well, can we go yet, can we not? So they were bringing the battle to each other a bit early. And well, the question is what line were some of these drivers going by? Were they going by that, or were they going by the lights on their screens? Or it would be interesting to see any POVs that are out there after the session has completed, to see what was going through people's minds and where they thought they should be going and where they shouldn't be. But as it stands, for the people that are still running, I mean, they've all had really good starts so far. Things have been fairly calm out there, nothing too crazy, but your leader of the AMs at the moment, I believe, is Christopher Barnes, and by quite some time as well, between him and Jack Werrell.
Yeah, we've got both Westons to jump to the pits there. Alan McCain has also gone in as well. Stuart Gibbons is also in here, but Gibbons went off track here, I believe. Was this all on his own? Did Gibbo go off? He did. What happened after that? Nothing. So it's a little bit bizarre for Stuart Gibbons, but yeah, unfortunately there's been a few people caught up in incidents that will obviously be discussed, I'm sure, as Adam Hedgecock chasing down Petty currently at the moment here as well, Mercedes and McLaren. So it all got a little bit scrappy at the beginning. I'm not sure what line people thought they were supposed to be taking before they started, because at the end of the day, the finishing line for this race is basically the first one on the exit of turn 13. That's where the results come in, that's where it had, and that's where the issue lies. The finishing line should be at the start line. If the start line is where Barney is, that's where the finishing line should be. It shouldn't be 50 metres up the road, which is what we're going to see here at the moment with Petty. The finishing line for this race is literally round this corner. It's there. right? That line across the track. But where Barney is all the way down there. So surely they should be in the same place, shouldn't they?
Well, you would have thought so, that's for sure. And well, that is, so far in both races, that is where Thurtle has put his foot down on the accelerator every time. So he's always suddenly put his foot down on that very first line, just out of the final turn. So he's going there, and obviously the rest of the pack have noticed the cars in front of them speeding up, and they've all come, you know, those that haven't quite made it around the final turn, sort of the back half of the pack, they're all suddenly whizzing around that corner, and then that's when we've seen cars go 3 or 4 wide, because at that point they think they're in full race mode when, you know, we've still got red lights up and Barney's half a mile down the road, you know, waving his flag horrendously, and well, I think there's just major confusion, so we'll have to speak with the stewards and see what's going on here tonight.
Yeah, I'll have a chat with the boys in the admin and see what the situation was out on track. Of course, we've got Jason Haddington out on track as well. Damien Hirst has just there driving along. He's got Williams in front with Haddington behind him and Dengle behind that. Currently, he's being closed down by Stuart Rice, but we've still got Barnes in the middle here with Hedgecock, with Petty, with Burgess, and they've got 4 seconds up the road, and that gap to Thurtle's opening up as well. There's a second gap between Watson and Thurtle near enough here, and currently, good job from Tim Perry. Goes round Barnes, and now he's going to set on his way after Adam Hedgecock further up as well. But they do, if that is an issue within this race circuit, that the line is the finishing line, then it needs to be the start line. It can't be in 2 places at the same time. It's got to be the start line here as well. Williams has just lost a place to Hurst and is looking at possibly might have carrying some damage there, with Haddington up the inside, almost in that Mercedes, where Williams is going to have that inside line. Hurst runs round the outside, shuts the door on Williams, says no, you're not going through, and Williams is still where he is currently at the moment. But Hedgecock here locked in this 4-way battle with Perry and also Petty and Burgess. So some great racing going on so far.
Yeah, there certainly is, and from the looks of it, some people that are involved in earlier incidents, Rob Williams being one of them, the front half of their car looks like flat pack IKEA furniture. So you can definitely see that there is damage on some of these cars out there. Whether that's going to be impacting their performance, maybe straight line speed will be the major one. Whether that's affecting that or not, we will soon see, you know, after a few more laps. And it looks like Haddington's got the best of Williams here now, and he gets his Air Smart Mercedes, in front of Mr. Williams there. So he might be carrying damage, and it'll be interesting to see how far Williams drops back, if at all. And I think if he does, then it's clear to say that damage is impeding his pace. But some of these other cars that don't have damage currently, especially this group of 4 led by Ryan Burgess in P4s as it stands, Gavin Petty just behind that with Hedgecock, and then Perry at the back there. So this pack of 4, I have a funny feeling this could go majority of the race between these guys, because their pace over the last couple of laps has looked very similar. But the car number 666 of the Project 88 racing team is leading the way in this pack of 4, just missing out on a podium spot. 6 seconds behind Mark Fletcher, which sounds like a lot, and it probably will be after these pit stops have gone by, because we all know what Fletcher can do. Yeah, the pit stops will be in probably round about the next 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how much fuel they started the race with, of course. You would have thought they would have filled it up and gone all the way. They all do slot into a line, which is what would be expecting. Burgess, Hedgecock, and also Perry behind that, as these 4 are still battling out. What is going on up front? Well, Watson's opened up the gap to about 1.4 seconds with Fletch behind him here. Currently at the moment with Thurtle as well, but Thurtle's even opened up the gap to Fletch. He kind of doesn't want to allow Fletch to do any kind of fuel saving as much as he can, does he? He wants to kind of get him racing, because that's where Fletch seems to be the strongest. When he fuel saves, and he fuel saves, and then all of a sudden he comes out, he has the shortest pit possible and takes over the lead, or takes over the win, or goes out in front, or breaks them basically, and takes over, doesn't he? Because that's how he's been doing it all season. Yeah, we saw how sort of powerful that really was, that system was that Fletch runs in these races. You know, back at Hocks, we saw it there. He was fuel saving for the first sort of half to 3/4 of this 45-minute race, and we saw that his pit stop was a couple of seconds quicker than the rest of the field, and well, that truly paid off, obviously getting the lead. Unfortunate for Thurtle, yes, but you know, the fuel saving technique really did come in handy. I think he's behind Watson the entire time, but this time round at Catalunya, things are a bit different. Watson has a bit more pace than what he had at Hox, so it looks like this is more of a preferred track for Mr. Watson out in front at the moment, and the time has closed down ever so slightly between Thurtle, so whether Thurtle's now finding a little bit of pace or maybe going a bit quicker in some corners he didn't think he could. I mean, look how close those times are. Thurtle is marginally quicker that time round, and Fletch is a little slower than both of those.
Yeah, Needham here has been up to something. That's, I believe that's Jack Werrell, the 65. It is. He gives him a little nudge, and unfortunately for Needham, he does go round. So Chris Needham from Air Smart there, getting a little bit too overly zealous on the accelerator, and goes round. Adam Hedgecock is trying to go up the inside of Gavin Petty at the moment. He has. Petty's been pushed out. That's going to allow Perry to come through as well. Can Perry get his place back? Over Perry, God blimey, saying that 5 times speedily. That's going to cause me problems throughout the rest of this race, I think, especially if these guys are racing together. Hedge runs wide out of turn 4. He's rushing down into turn 5. He's trying to hold that inside line. He does hold it from Perry, with Petty still sat behind him.
Yeah, he has the double P's behind him, and well, technically you can call it triple P with Barnes just behind those as well. So 3 P's in a row almost there. And well, what a battle we're going to have between McLaren and Mercedes by the looks of things. You've got Petty backing off just a little bit. There's a little bit of a gap forming between him and Perry just in front. So it will be interesting to see if Perry can make the move on Hedgecock in the next sort of lap or two. He was within 2 tenths. He's just lost out a little bit of time there. The McLaren obviously is a little more superior, I would say, in terms of pace, and especially coming out of these slower corners. We saw that quite a lot at Spa as well, if you guys can remember back to that round. You know, we saw how much the McLaren can pull away, and well, he's showing his pace in that McLaren so far at the minute is Mr. Hedgecock, and he's slowly pulling away from the 2 Mercs behind him as he tries to track down Mr. Ryan Burgess just up ahead in the Project 88 car in P4 as it stands.
Now we've got Chris Evans here who's just sent it on Stuart Rice. And that is both Triple P Racing Vantage boys, as Evans now tracks down onto the back of trying to get hold of Kevin Randall. Randall is currently 8th in class, up 7 places. Pinto's up 10. Haddington's up 16. Delaunay's up 17 places. An absolutely stellar job from these guys as well. And Williams is up 2 there. So he's still fighting out with 29 minutes remaining here. That BMW still looks like he's got some pace for Williams, and hopefully he'll be able to get whatever he got damaged and repaired in the pit stop. What about Evans? Is he going to be able to get past Randall this time? That Aston Martin there is on that run. He's looking up that inside line into turn 1. On the brakes they go. Randall's holding the outside line. Evans did not get it up this time as well. These guys having a great race in race 1 as well, so fair play to both of them. But it is Adam Hedgecock with Tim Perry right behind him further up here as we're going with 29 minutes remaining. Pinto's past Rice, Randall's past Rice, and Evans has passed Rice as well. So unfortunately for Stuart Rice, he's just lost 3 places as Perry's going to send it out the inside of Adam Hedgecock. Hedgecock leaves the door open. Perry almost nudges him round there. That was very, very close, Callum.
That certainly was. There's a bit of nose cutting there, and I don't think there was contact between the two. I don't see any marks on the McLaren in front on the left-hand side there. So everything looked all clean, but my God, did Perry have to get on the brakes. He probably put his foot through the floor with how hard he had to put the brakes on at that moment. As you can see, they're not, I will emphasise that, they are not straddling that final sausage curb there as they come around the final turn. So some cars clearly don't opt for that line, and well, Perry's still going to put the pressure on Mr. Hedgecock. You know, he is getting closer and closer. He's going to opt for the inside line here on Mr. Hedgecock. He's going to go later into the brakes. He's going to go side by side into turn 1. Hedgecock's going to have the inside line leading round into turn 2. Now into the long right-hander it goes back to Perry once again, and Perry's moved forward. And as it stands, Perry is in P4. Now, one thing is to note, we have Watson up top, Fletcher second, and Burgess third. We have lost the man that was in third, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he went into the pits.
Oh, okay. He's gone into the pits very early then, compared to normal.
Well, he's gone and made a decision here as well. Wow, this looks cool. Max Verstappen. How many races are there in this season? There is 10, and we are at race 6 here as well. 2 races in the evening, 15-minute sprint, followed by a 45-minute feature with a pit stop. So that's the situation currently at the moment. Jack Werrell's got Torno Oromets, literally. I think if we went on board with Oromets, he's literally attached to Werrell's bumper currently at the moment as well. And these guys are fighting it out for 9th and 10th here. I would say in class, but they're not, because Jack Werrell is in the AMs, and of course Oromets is in the pros. So that is who's leading. Watson leading the pros, Barnes leading the AMs currently at the moment here as well. Thurtle's now on the back of Mark Werrell. He's going to look at going up the inside. I don't think Werrell's going to give him any trouble. He isn't. Through goes Thurtle. So Thurtle chose to pit early. Pit lap 9, 26 minutes remaining.
That is a lot earlier than what we've seen before. I thought that the pit window normally for the top 3 are sort of between 25 minutes and 18 minutes left of the race, from my memory, but I could be completely off there. But from what I remember, I thought the times were around that sort of area for the top 4, maybe 5 cars to pit in.
Yeah, it says race 1. No, we're on race 2. Sorry. We are on race 2 there as well this evening. And Thurtle's now going to go past the back marker of Stefan Mellis. So Thurtle's making his way through the field here and is doing an absolutely stellar job. Hedgecock has now got Petty behind him as well. So it is Watson, Fletcher, Burgess, Perry and Hedgecock, with Thurtle down in 12th, who chose to stop early. Dengle's also in the pits here, so he's just got in for his pit stop as well. There's a different... Oh, excuse me. There's a different strategy here this evening, and I think that's going to make it even more interesting.
Yeah, what's interesting is these guys have gone in early. If they haven't opted for tyres, and I know you don't really need to go for tyres every round in this series, 45 minutes, you can just about do it on one set, depending on your driving style. Some people may prefer to get, just fronts or just rights or lefts. We see that quite common now in the GT4s and GT3s. It'll be interesting to see whether Thurtle has gone for the tyres or not, and whether there's a big difference in terms of the fuel taken on board between him and the top 2 at the minute especially. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of times these guys are doing in the pits when they all eventually come into the pit stops section. And well, Kevin Randall's looking again like some IKEA flat pack furniture on the front end of that Mercedes. He's had a bit of trouble there at some point during this race, and in fact it looks a bit more like he's wrapped it around a goalpost as he tries to put the pressure on Christopher Evans there in the Triple P Aston Martin, who's going to hold the inside line, going to have the defence on, and he sits diagonally in front of Kevin Randall, and he's going to hold that position as it stands. But Kevin Randall, has he got the run leading out of the turn? Doesn't have it there. Maybe in the last couple of corners he can try and get a better run. Are one of these guys going to pit? It is coming up to that point. Chris Barnes, your leader of the AMS, has gone into the pit. So he's going to drop down a few positions now. He's going to drop down your time and table as he comes in for his fuel. And there we go. Randall is in for a pit as well. So the battle between those two was close, but it's not anymore as he comes into the pits for his pit stop. Adam Hedgecock, currently P4 as it stands at the moment, leading in front of Petty. And Babic 6 odd seconds down the road as well. So he's moved up due to a couple of pit stops, I think, as well. Yeah. And Perry's currently P3 behind Fletcher.
Yeah, he has here as well. Thurtle's jumped to Burgess. So that's one place he's gained already in hindsight on track here, with Thurtle jumping past Burgess. He's now going to be trying to get onto the back of Cabernet Delaunay. He's 4.7 seconds down the road at the moment. What is his gap from the leader here? I think that's going to be more of the thing. It's 34 seconds. And pit lane time does say 40.35. So we'll keep an eye on that one and see how Fertel's got on, whether or not he's just pulled a master stroke or whether or not he's just made a big old boo-boo. But I'm hoping it is the first one here. So let's hope that Fertel has made some advances and will be progressing up the grid once more. So it's all getting very, very close. Gaps appearing. Hedgecock's in the pits here. Fertel's on his run round turn 11. Adam Hedgecock's just gone in and is rolling down the pit lane. And for Fertel, it is important that he clears Adam Hedgecock. He needs to at least take another place away from somebody who was in front of him on track as he's leading into this pit cycle here as well. And I think he is going to take that place away from Hedge, and is another place gain there as well. He's closing in to Cabernet Launay, 2.6 seconds. I believe it is, no, 4.3 seconds, sorry, as well. So a lot of action going on. Haddington and Needham going at it further down as well. Obviously, Needham had his own incidents with Werrell. We went in a little bit too hot, and unfortunately, they're struck the back of Werrell, but it does allow Needham now to run and see how he got on and see whether or not he can hold that air here.
Yeah, there were a couple of people that opted to pit on the same lap as Mr. Thurl, other than the ones that had incidents earlier in the race, obviously pitting on lap 1s to 3. But the quickest pit stop time after that is on lap 9, and that is Mr. Thurl at the minute with a 40.3 second pit stop time. So that is the time to beat for anyone in front of Thurl as it stands at the minute. So that is the time that's on the board for them in terms of the pit stop or pit lane time. So 40.3 seconds, that is quite a while, and I believe it's 14.8 he was sitting there for. So that'll probably be for refuel and maybe some tyres. That seems a bit long for fuel to go in, but I could be completely wrong there, because I'm not very accurate when it comes to timing, I have to admit. But yeah, as it stands, that is the time to beat in terms of the pit stop time. So whether Fletcher or Watson can capitalise on that, and it'll be interesting to see obviously Fletcher's time, being how dominant he was throughout this season so far. But back to the action on track then, as we wait for those guys to come into the pits. Jason Haddington currently P21, but Fausto Pinto is currently P15 with Christopher Evans just behind there, and you've got, I believe, yeah, Stuart Rice just in the background as well, and the other Triple P Aston Martin. The way to tell the difference is Evans does have a couple of black stripes next to his headlights. It's not the most obvious thing to see, but that is the way to tell the difference between those two. But Fausto Pinto is coming around the final two corners. There is Christopher Evans. There's the black stripes I'm on about, going through the headlights, and he's going to opt for his pit stop this lap. Is Rice also, are they going to double up? I'm not too sure. I think Rice has carried on, judging by the sound I've got coming through on my monitors.
No, he's gone in.
No, he's come in. Okay, so it must have been someone else I heard then.
He's gone in there as well. So, yeah, absolutely stellar job from both of these guys, as Cabernet Launay is in as well, and that's bumped up Fertel into 8th place now. Toro Ormets is next on his list, and again, he is the last man that's pitted. Here is, no, sorry, the first man that's pitted out of the top 8, isn't it, currently at the moment? Oromets, Werrell, Babbage, Petty, Perry, Fletcher and Watson all haven't here, Callum. And it's looking like he may have pulled a little bit of a master stroke, but we'll have to see how it goes on as Dengel does jump Delaunay. Delaunay comes out of the pits here in 20th overall, 12th in class. But he is now closing on to the back of Jamie Dengel. So we'll have to see how Dengel gets on as well, find out with Delaunay. Delaunay obviously was quick, wasn't he, as well last time out, if I remember, in obviously Hock as well. So Delaunay's had a bit of an up and down season though, Callum. Few races he's been fast and a couple where he's not been so much.
Yeah, certainly. And well, Delaunay, he's not, let's say, the most consistent season, but he's had good pointers to take from this season. So obviously if he goes into next season GT4, he will be taking the inside line a lot more, just as he's done there on the Aston Martin, and gains the position. Has he got the momentum to hold it? He looks like he has at the moment, but he's instantly going to be on the defensive line and well, blocks out the Aston Martin from regaining that position. So he claims that nice and quickly there, not impeding his pace too much. But yeah, leading into sort of next season, he can take some positives away from this season. He's had some ups, there are some downs, but there's always space for improvement. No matter who you are, where you are, there's always room for improvement. It's just about having the mentality and the time to sit down and squash out any imperfections in your performance on track. So sure he'll be doing that over the next few rounds, and well, hopefully we see some great results from him coming up as well at the moment. But Arthur Thurtle currently made his way up into P5, 35 seconds behind Babbage at the moment. That's quite a big gap that he's got to make up there, and Watson and Fletch still going around. They haven't come into the pits yet, but the quickest time still is Mr. Thurtle, and the person with the closest time after that is actually Jason Haddington, closely followed by Ryan Burgess. Both of those two are just a second behind Thurtle's pit stop time. So it is going to be very interesting in that case to see what Fletch and Watson can do.
Yeah, it definitely will be. We're into the last 17 minutes. They have got a pit. Babbage, Perry, Fletch and Watson have all got a pit here. They have all just carried on, but they are coming into back markers. And it is going to be starting off with Stuart Rice. Will be the first back marker as well. This could really affect their in-lap if this is their in-lap here once again. So they're going to have to be careful. Babbage has just gone into the pits. Thurtle's going to take that position away from Babbage. Rice does move over sensibly there. What about Fletch? Does he able to get through? He doesn't get through on Rice this time. Rice is kind of, unfortunately, now between a rock and a hard place. Just back off, let him through. Good job there as well from Stuart Rice. Nice and clean from him. Thurtle's into 4th place. He's on his way round turn 1, and your leaders are on their run into turn 6. So let's see how he can get on and whether or not he can make an inroad into him. I think that's going to be the thing here to keep an eye on. Delaunay and also Haddington are battling it out side by side currently on that run round turn 11. And Delaunay on the right-hand side, he looks like he's just about to slip up the inside of Haddington. He did do there as well. I got 25 minutes of repairs, says DCS DK TV 10 Sim Community. Now, who is that?
Oh.
Kevin Randall, I believe, or Tom Weston. Which one? There as well. VJ does say ouch to that as well. Did you not turn on your fast repair, Kevin? I'm sure there is a fast repair here. I mean,
also, I have just noticed, unless I'm completely blind and my mind's been away in the last couple of minutes, we've lost our who was our AM leader of Chris Barnes. He's out and 2 laps down as it stands.
Yes, but why?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm glad I wasn't the only one to think that. Yeah, not too sure what's happened to him, but our AM leader is out, hence why we now have Mr. Werrell leading the AMs. Mark Werrell, that is, leading the AMs as it stands. So, Mark Werrell followed by Jack Werrell, then Pinto. So, they're your top 3 for the AMs. So, not too sure what happened to Barnes. Hopefully, we'll find out later on this race. But, interesting one there, because I thought he would have been absolutely thrilled considering his position. So, not too sure
I'm not
what's
sure.
happened there.
Unless he just disconnected. I think that could be the thing, because it looks like he's
Possibly.
just gone. So, unfortunately for him, it looks like he has just gone.
Oh, PC restarted. He just put it in the chat.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, no.
PC restarted. Ouch. Mr. Barnety, unfortunately for you. Dangle's still battling away with Haddington here. The front 2 are still not gone in. And Thurtle's gap to the leader now is down 33 seconds because they have been going past traffic. And Fletch got past Watson. Watson went in. So Thurtle ended up 3.35 seconds back from Watson. There, and Watson's up the road, so he didn't quite jump him. Watson did go in, but he didn't quite jump him in the pit stops. And unfortunately for Thurtle, he was 3.5 seconds back here. Pinto and Orametz are going side by side. Orametz on the inside of turn 4. So unfortunately for Thurtle, he didn't make it past Watson.
He didn't know, but Fletcher's just come into the pit. At the moment, this will be the interesting one because Thurtle still leads the quickest time in the pit lane as it stands, and Watson was just slower with a 40.82 stop time, and Thurtle's still in the lead with 40.3 flat. So it'll be interesting to see what Fletcher can do. How much fuel does he take on? Probably not a lot, considering how long of the race we now have left. And he's still sitting there in pit road. Still sitting there. There we go. He's now going to be on the exit, and here come who were the top 2, and well, I think he's going to get out in between these two, possibly side by side actually with Watson As no, he's jumped him.
Jumped them both again. Fletch is being saved by whatever pit strategy he's got going on here. Of course, he runs with Brian Loynes, his crew chief, and them two together have done an absolutely stellar job this season here as well. So Fletch has jumped Watson and Thurtle to be in front at the pit lane. Again, it's the story of pit lanes here, isn't it, really? Fletch just seems to get it right every week.
Yeah, he certainly does, and that's going to be the biggest challenge to get by for Mr. Thurtle this season. You know, that's the biggest thing that sort of pinned him back, if you like, so far in the season. It's all about the pit stops, because we saw the 15-minute race. He managed to defend enough and keep his lead as Deck Crowther there in the Blaze livery. I thought we lost him earlier on, but it looks like he's still going. Possibly had some extensive damage on that car there, but he's still going. There's Thurtle in the background there, and well, he's not incredibly far behind as it stands. Perry's yet to come in for his pit stop, so technically your provisional pole as it stands at the moment is Mr. Fletcher. Only 14, just over 14 and a half seconds behind Mr. Perry. Watson 4 tenths behind that, and just over 3 seconds away is Thurtle. But the pace of the Aston Martins was a little quicker, I felt, overall so far tonight than the McLaren. So I am kind of leaning more towards Watson possibly for the race win as it stands, and I think Thurtle has a chance of catching up if these two battle hard over the course of a couple of laps.
Yeah, Perry's in the pits now. So Perry is there, and he's going to lose that place to Thurtle. Thurtle will take that third place away, 3.6 seconds back from Watson at the moment, mind you. So he needs them two up front to keep fighting and fighting and fighting, because at the end of the day, that's what he is going to require. He needs them to fight so he can at least latch on to the back here of these two fighting gladiators, with Fletch in front and Watson here as well. Watson's trying to run around the curb. Is he going to look at trying to get a better entry into turn 4? He is. He's now going to try and run it around the outside of turn 5. Is he going to get the pace? He's not. Fletch closes the door. Now, what about going into 5 here? Fletch parks it in the middle of the circuit. Nowhere to go. Here's Thurtle is coming. He's 3.6. He's pulled a tenth and a half back already. Can he make it, and can he get up to these two before within the next 10 minutes? So let's see. Have P1 and P2 pitted already? They have, Mr. VJ there. They have pitted already. So from Thurtle's point of view, he's now just like a dog with a bone. He's got to just get chasing him down and chasing him down and chasing him down, because he has already lost time. And they're now down to 3.5. The gap's coming. Can he get down a little bit further as Fletch goes on the defensive from Watson? Watson's climbing all over the back of him. Round turn 10 and 11. Here he goes once more. Oh, he's right up behind Fletch. Are they going to be able to stay away without any contact here, Callum? That's going to be the interesting thing.
Well, these guys they have such a high skill level. I imagine they will do. There was a little contact, obviously, as we saw in the first corner of the race. I think that was due to a bit of confusion, though. But apart from that, we had no real serious contact between these two throughout the entirety of tonight. And hopefully it stays that way. They're touching the grass a little bit there. You've got to be careful about that. Thurtle in the background there, you know, he is still there. He's still lurking. So these guys can't afford to have any mistake. And Fletcher's going to have to hold the inside line leading into turn 1. He does so, holds a position on top of Watson, and Watson's still going to put the attack on. You can see how quick that Aston Martin is coming into some of these corners on top of that McLaren, and really putting each other bumper to bumper in these slower turns as they come round now on to the sharp right-hander. Watson is going to opt to the outside line. Fletcher's going to have to defend. Are they going to hold their positions? Yeah, Fletcher's going to try and squeeze him out. Doesn't do so. Watson's going to have the inside. Can he keep his nose up the inside? He does so, and he gets to the position on top of Fletcher. There's not many opportunities now for Fletcher to try and get this position back, because, like I was saying before, I do feel that Watson's probably going to have the race win here, because the Aston, I do feel, is marginally quicker than the McLaren out there tonight. And Thurtle, well, look, that's a second gone now in the time between these two and Thurtle. So are we going to see what happened a couple of rounds ago, where Thurtle's within maybe a lap or two of the end of the race and he's in the battle again? Yeah. Could we see last minute hopes and a bit of squeaky bum time, I think, for Mr. Thurtle?
Yeah, I think that is going to be the one. 2.7 seconds he's got at the moment to these guys. He's pulled out a second over them both here. Watson and Fletcher in front. A battle for first, second and third. Pinto and Hurst look like they're having a nice tidy battle. Pinto and Gibbons, sorry. Pinto has just passed Gibbons, mind you. Well, saying that, they're running side by side currently because Gibbons is there. There goes Pinto. He is through. Can Fletch keep on to the back of Watson? Can Fertel pull him in here? 150, 151 and a 150.2. Fertel is bringing it in. 2.7 seconds at the moment. Can he get it down further? That's going to be the question. That's going to be the decision. And whether or not Fertel pulled out a masterstroke with his early pit stop. He went and tried something different, Callum. I think that's the thing, isn't it? He tried something different. Did it work? Well, 2.5 seconds. Time will tell.
I think it certainly worked if you were looking at keeping him in the battle, because I would still say he is well and truly in this battle still. He's not too far behind, you know. You think, oh, a couple of seconds, yeah, miles off, but you're really not. And especially if you're looking through Vettel's visor, you know, he's going to see these cars the whole time. And when he sees them getting close, I'm sure he's getting excited behind that wheel, because if they start battling, he can really pounce on this situation. But I will say, Mr. Fletcher has been dethroned with the quickest pit stop so far this season. Tim Perry has got the quickest pit stop of the session so far with 38.65, and Fletch had a 38.67. So there's not much between it, but Tim Perry has come away as your quickest pit stop time tonight. So Mark Fletcher's been dethroned in the pit stop times so far this season. So Tim Perry's the one to break that chain of events. But Vettel, he's lost a couple of tenths there in the last couple of sectors to these two cars. It's now gone up to 2.7 seconds. It was 2.5 a second ago. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep his pace up and keep the concentration to these cars ahead. And we'll just got to keep everything we possibly can crossed and the hope that these two battle out a bit more to bring Vettel into the action and hopefully bring a photo finish to you guys back here at home watching live with us.
Yeah, definitely as well. Last 5 minutes on track we go. Watson, Fletcher, Fertel. Fertel's in the 150.1s. Unfortunately, everybody in front has also done the same time. He's not really gaining at the moment. He needs these guys to be side by side. He needs them to be fighting. They need to be dropping time as much as possible with Fertel. Has Fletch settled in for second place, though? That's going to be the thing, so he doesn't lose points to Fertel. He obviously already lost points in the first race, of course. Is he going to lose points in the second one? Well, it's not looking like he is currently at the moment. As Heat 1, he lost 3 points, but he's going to gain 4 in the Heat 2. So currently at the moment, he's still 1 for 1. I thought he was going to go for it there as well. He's still 1 point up on what Fertel achieved. So it's all going to be happening within the next 5 minutes. Fletch is trying to have a go at Watson. Fertel's trying to have a go. He's got to get down to 2.3 currently at the moment as well, as Watson bounces that curb and Fletch does try and run up the side of him here as well as they're going into turn 9. But time will tell over the next 4.5 minutes, Callum.
Yeah, there's not long left to go at all. So Vettel's have got to really hope that 2 seconds comes down and these two battle out hard now till the end of the race, because ultimately it is going to slow them down. We've seen how much it can slow you down battling out side by side in many corners within a lap. So it can definitely impede on your pace drastically, really. So Vettel's really going to have to hope that does happen a lot. And well, 2 seconds is the gap now. So the last time that I was talking, we were just saying how it's 2.7. It's now 2 flat. And, well, I'm now starting to see 1s at the gap time between the front two. So he is closing. And, well, I don't think he's far away from drafting times either. So he's going to be well and truly in this battle. And I think it's just like both me and James predicted, it's going to be in the last sort of lap or two that we are going to see this battle really spice it up tonight. Yeah,
it depends if he can get it down now. He's got basically only 3.5 minutes to try and make this move. 1.9 seconds for Fertel. Watson still out in front and Fletch in second place. There is the looming blue Aston Martin. 1.8 as well. 1.9 is going up and down here faster than an elevator at Trump Towers, I can imagine. So Cabernet Delaunay is battling it out with Needham, and then we've got Dengle battling it out with Haddington here. We'll keep an eye on it as well and see how it goes on. It's still down out at 1.9. Haddington's off the grass. That's going to allow Dengle through. Dengle does go and take that position. So there we go. He does get the job done. And Haddington back into the pits for his second pit stop. I'm wondering if that's fuel related. Delaunay here with Needham, and these guys are closing back on each other as well. This is a battle down in 11th and 12th currently at the moment here as well, but it is still Watson, Fletch and Thurtle, and we're going to have 2 laps to go here, I believe, as well. So he's going to have another 2 laps to try and get this closer. Can he get it? That's going to be the question.
Well, I think VJ's right. You got to cue the Jaws theme, and well, this is it. This is what it all comes down to. It's the moment of truth, really, between the top 3. Watson showing some seriously good pace all throughout the night. He's going to do a stellar job, really, if he holds off Fletcher. The Aston Martin has been the quicker car tonight overall. Only just, not by a lot, but I do feel that has been the quicker car, and he's managed to defend, I would say, quite easily and quite nicely so far to Fletcher there in P2, which isn't too bad and hasn't impeded on Watson's pace too much, but the gap between them and Thurtle does come down once more. It's now 1.8. He's gaining a couple of tenths every other lap, but that's not going to be enough. So, I thought Fletcher's going to send it then. If these two keep battling as it stands at the moment, Thurtle could really have a last gasp, maybe last couple of corners shot at the top 2, but I think the more and more these guys get around this lap, the more unlikely it is that we're going to see Thurtle on the top 2 tonight.
Yeah, definitely here as well. And unfortunately, I don't think he's closing just close enough. I don't think he's pulled in enough here with the final lap looming as well. So I don't think he's going to get there either, unfortunately. I think it could be resounded into 3rd. I think it depends if these two make contact. That will probably allow Thurtle through, but Fletcher's got up the inside. Watson's trying to run around the outside now. Watson's going to go and dig it in here and goes back on the inside again. Gap's down at 1.5. I still don't think he's going to get that close enough. I think Fletcher's throwing everything at Watson. I just don't think Thurtle's going to have the pace, unfortunately. I just don't think he's going to have the pace. And unfortunately for him, I think it is going to be 3rd here for Thurtle. Now, in the AMS, by the way, Jack Werrell is still out in front in the AMS here on the final lap of the race. Werrell has got Dan Babbage in front of him as well. So Werrell and Mark Werrell. So we're going to have a double Werrell podium here with Mark being the dad, Jack being the son, and it will be a double podium. So happy days for the Werrells in their household this evening as well. But let's go back to this lead battle. Is it going to finish like this? Is it going to change? Well, time's going to tell very, very shortly. And it looks like Watson going round, coming into turn 4, possibly could have this. I don't think Thurtle is just quite close enough. He needs them to fight a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be close enough for that P1. P2 is kind of still up in the air, I feel, but because Fletcher has backed off just a little bit, which has brought Thurtle a little bit closer. But now he's starting to put the pressure on again. I think he's realised that was bringing Thurtle a bit more into the battle, so he's now going back on it in terms of attacking Watson. And well, I think this will be how the top 3 finish. And looking at the times, Thurtle is quicker in sector 1 and 3. Sector 2 seems to be the area that's letting him down a little on the 2 cars ahead. There's not much between the 2, but the 2 cars in front are slightly quicker in that sector 2. All their times are close all across the board, but Thurtle does reign supreme in sectors 1 and 3 as it stands.
Yeah, well, it's 1.7 seconds and we are round turn 11. It is going to be Watson. I think Watson's going to take this over Fletcher. And then I think Thurtle's going to be in 3rd place. In the AMS, it is going to be Jack Werrell. Oh, steady. Steady, steady, as Adam Watson nearly bins it on the final lap, on the final corner, but he's going to come over the line. He is. Adam Watson is your winner. Mark Fletcher 2nd, Thurtle in 3rd. And then in the AMS, it's looking like Jack Werrell is going to come over the line with Mark Werrell and then Dengle, believe it or not. Mr. Jamie Dengle got himself back into a podium spot. So a stellar run from him this evening in the feature race as well. But it's looking like here we're going to have Mark Werrell is going to come over the line for the AM victory. An absolutely stellar job. I'm sorry, Jack Werrell. Too many Werrells. Jack's going to come over and take that victory in the AMs for the Squadra di Corse Veloce team here as he goes over the line. Jack does cross the line. He does take the victory in the AMs there, and a stellar job from him. What about Mark? Mark's going to come over and take second place. And Needham and Delaunay, did you see that in the background? They were literally side by side at one point. Needham there is going to be managing to hang on from Delaunay. It is Needham, it is Delaunay there as well. So a great fight from them guys further back. Williams is trying to get onto the back of Hannington, and Alan McCain down in 15th at the moment as well. He's had an absolute rotten race, Callum, hasn't he?
Yeah, not the best overall for him, but not a bad finish overall for my team. They're all finishing together as a group. Rob Williams, Chris Evans and Stuart Rice. Unfortunate that Barnes PC restarted. Obviously that was huge because he seemed to have the AMs wrapped up really for this second race. So yeah, really unfortunate for Mr. Barnes. But overall, what a race we had and what action we were treated to tonight.
Yeah, it was an absolute stellar race there from all of these drivers. The start was somewhat chaotic, but they all managed to get round there as well. And it is Adam Watson out in front with Mark Fletcher second, Arthur Ferdle third, Tim Perry in fourth, Ryan Burgess fifth, Adam Hedgecock sixth, Dan Babbage in seventh. Jack Werrell takes the AMs with Torno Oromets in ninth, Gavin Petty in 10th, Mark Werrell second in the AMs there. So it is an AM Werrell 1-2, Needham in 12th, then Delaunay, and then Dengle wrapping up the AM podium. McCain in 15th, Haddington 16th, Williams in 17th place. Then on from that, we've got Chris Evans, Stuart Rice, Derek Carver, Ryan Dudley, Fausto Pinto, Damien Hurst, Stuart Gibbons, Stefan Mellis, and then we've got the likes of Chris Barnes, Kevin Randall, Tom Weston, Danny Weston there as well, and Merkin Ficanto, who did not take to the start. So an absolutely incredible job from some of these guys, and we've got some of them in for a chat. Let's start off with the winner overall in the feature race, Mr. Adam Watson. Adam, how are you? Good evening to you, sir.
Quite sweaty. I'm all right though.
Yeah, tough race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit of a difficult one, but it was also a very good race at the same time.
Yeah, did you think that you could take the victory? You know, Fert was on pole, you was in second.
I thought, Doyle is a very good driver, and I thought it'd be very even, but I think as the track temps got higher, it's like Doyle struggled a little bit, so I don't know if that's the case, but yeah, it was a really good race, and obviously when Doyle pitted early, it was a bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, I don't think any of us was expecting it, to be honest, and I'll be asking him about why he pitted so early in a minute here as well. But at the end of the day, you've done a stellar job. Did you worry when Mark come out in front of you and out the pits?
Well, I weren't worried. The way the cars are, the strengths and weaknesses, I still thought I could have him because I had better pace earlier on, so I knew the speed was still there.
Awesome stuff. Well, Adam, thank you so much for joining us here for your first chat of the season. Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to having a chat with you as the season goes on there, buddy. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Just give him a shout out to my teammate Tim Perry, and yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Been good to join us, and thank you for the streams.
No worries there, bud. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a good one.
You too.
Right, let's have a chat with the Project 88 driver, Ryan Burgess, who's joined us this evening. Ryan, good evening. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you both?
Quite hot, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. It's a bit muggy where I am, and yeah, it's not ideal. But hey, not a bad race at all for you, sir.
Yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised with the P5.
Yeah, partly. You've had only one top 5 this season. Top 10s you've had 5 of as well. Your average start place has been 9th and your average finish has been 7th, you know, and now you go and take a 5th. Incredible, right?
Just consistency in a championship like this. You just got to be consistent, pick up the points, and see where you finish at the end. But I did try to stick with the top 3 at the start, but they're just too quick.
Yeah, they definitely are as well. What do you think realistically for you in the championship is at the moment? Because you're with the drop round, you're sitting in P6. You know, that's not too far off. You know, do you think you can get in the mix in the top sort of 3, 4, 5 place?
I'm not too worried about where I personally finish. I just want the team to get 3rd place. So I'm not really about personal accolades. It's just about how well the team can do in general. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that hopefully that we finish P3.
Yeah, because currently in the teams, where are you sitting? You're in Pre-3 at the moment. You're ahead of Air Smart and behind Team SRL. So it's going to be a tough one there as well. But Ryan, thank you so much for joining us here there, bud. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
No, thanks, guys. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, take care, mate. Thank you so much for joining us. Right, now we can have a chat with Mr. Arthur Ferdle. He finished in the 3rd place here. How are you, Arthur?
I'm not too bad, thanks, James. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much. Just seen some great racing. You know,
good.
Early pit stop from yourself, though, sir. A little bit of a surprise.
It was Damien Hirst, and you know, I've been held up by him before when lapping, and I knew I was just watching it thinking, yeah, Adam's probably just about going to clear him before the chicanes, like turns 1, 2, 3, and I bet I'm going to get held up by him. So I thought I'll throw it into the pits. Mark's then not in tow either, so it stops him being able to save so much fuel. And unfortunately, I just drove like I didn't know how to drive a car when I come out the pits and lost about 2 seconds.
Oh, that's not ideal. What happened?
No, I don't know. I couldn't find an apex. But yeah, if it wasn't for that, then I'd have been right in the mix. It'd have been all 3 of us still.
Yeah, well, that's what we were hoping for. Listen, drop week's been added. You're 30 points back at the moment. Realistically, can you get Fletch when we're on round 6? You know, you've got 7, 8, 9, 10. You've got 4 rounds to go, 8 races. Can you get them?
No. No, I think the championship is Fletch's now.
Oh.
I'm going to try, but there's, you know, with the amount of with the situation as it is, I'm a bit outnumbered here. So there's only one tactic that works for me now, and that's get into the lead and try and clear off. But we're so much on the limit of what the cars can do that's not going to happen. So if I'm in the lead, they'll be able to fuel save. If I'm behind, if I'm sitting in 2nd, the car in 3rd can try and go up my inside, and then we lose out the toe of the leader. It's it's got a lot more difficult now.
Okay, mate.
But I'll try.
Well, you go out there and give it your all for me, sir. How about that?
Yeah, I feel a bit more motivated again now. I didn't really do any practice at all for this one, but no, I'll practice a bit more for next week. I had 3 poles in a row, though.
Yeah, you have. Stellar job from you, mate. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Got the 1 lap pace.
Yeah, well, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? You can take pole, it's ideal.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us here, chap, as well. Good one, as always. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I'd shout out everyone in SRL that's watching and supporting. There's a few other guys as well that aren't in SRL that I know watch and support. So I'd like to give them a shout out. I'd like to give out a shout out to the wife, who I love very much.
Good move.
I'll shout out to yourself and Callum for your great broadcasting skills.
Thanks, mate.
And Altitude for making it a really good championship, really close.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you so much there, bud, for having a chat, and I look forward to catching up with you soon, no doubt.
Yeah, see you later.
Take care, mate. Right, and then for the final interview of the evening, Mr. Jack Werrell. Jack, good evening. How are you, sir?
I don't know how to take this one, really. A bit of a scrappy race, but yeah, where I wanted to be. I'm not sure what happened to Dex. Hopefully all is well. He disappeared at the start of the race. I don't know whether it was a jump start penalty or something like that, maybe passing on the inside. But yeah, podiums all round, P3, P1, and a 1-2 for the Werrells. I'm chuffed for Werrell Senior. What a night for him.
Yeah, definitely as well. We did mention that as well, that obviously Dad did get the second place. So a Werrell 1-2. How often do you think we're going to be seeing that for the remaining races?
I don't know, because the key thing is throughout the season, Father has been very consistent. But there's been little things that have maybe just knocked himself out of the results where he'd want to be at least. But he came back from a holiday and he's gone and done that. So maybe he needs to go on holiday a little bit more and come back if it produces results like that, which I'm sure he'll have no qualms with. But no, yeah, we'll see. It really is a waiting game, and tonight I have no idea what the points look like. I think with Deck, unfortunately, a poor feature race that might put myself up to the top again, but full well Deck is only going to be 2 or 3 points back. So championship fight till the end. Looking forward to it. But we'll see. We've got some good tracks on the way. Looking forward to Jerez. Looking forward to Zolder. So yeah, we'll see. It's an open book the rest of the season.
It definitely is, and I fully agree with you, Jack. It's going to be mightily close in this championship, to be fair, as well. Dudley's not out of it yet, but he has had a bit of a bad evening. So let's see how that one pans out as well. Jack, going forward though, have you enjoyed yourself so far with 6 rounds in? You've done 12 races at this point. Have you had fun?
Yes. There's been some nights where my patience has been tested, usually because of myself. Poor mistakes. I'm my biggest critic most of the time. But yeah, it's been good fun. What do you say? Yeah, 12 races, 6 features, 6 sprints. I think that's 4 feature wins now and only 1 sprint. So I don't know what I'm doing in the sprint race, but I need to put my ideas up there. Feature races, I'm fine. Yeah, plan going forward is keep it on the road, keep it clean, keep it consistent, and keep battling as well, because I know Barnsley had a good night. Unfortunately, I think he disconnected halfway through the race. But yeah, good battles. I've got to the point now where the championship fight is always in the back of my mind, but it's not the priority. The priority for me is keep battling with Deck and keep battling with Barnes regardless of points, because we always have a great night. And again, another great message from Barnes tonight in the Discord saying thanks for the race. So I take my hat off to Chris. He's always brilliant to have a door-to-door battle against.
Yeah, definitely as well. But Jack, thank you so much for joining us. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, of course, everyone at Squadra di Corsa Veloce, Father Werrell, Danny Cassar again, just for watching the stream, keeping an eye on how everything's going on. You guys for letting everything run the way it is, and whoever I might have raced against, because I don't think we had a single knock all night. It was good fun when we were in a proper battle.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, Jack, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to having a chat with you again sometime.
Yeah, see you guys in a week.
See you later. Right, and I don't know. Oh, and he's waiting in the booth as well, Mr. Mark Fletcher. Good evening, Mark. How are you?
Hello. Knackered now.
Knackered?
Absolutely. That's hard work now, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. Not for me. It's not, no.
But yeah, mega racing again tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was, mate. And second place for you at the end of the day.
Yeah. Massive shout out to Loinsy. Again, I ran out of fuel on the line. I tried to get Adam. The one time that I did have a chance of getting, I got shouted at saying, Mark, we don't have enough fuel to get to the end. So I had to back out of it. But yeah, good. Yeah, I'm happy with a P3 and a P2.
Good, mate. So you should be as well. It keeps you up there, keeps you in front of the championship, I believe, as well. So drop weeks applied, of course. You were going in with a 24-point lead, so let's see how that one comes out here as well. But is the racing now, Mark, is the championship affecting your racing now? Are you a little bit more cautious than you was before?
Kind of. I've been thinking about the championship since race 1, round 1. Obviously, it's always nice to lead. But it also adds a hell of a lot more pressure, because I know that one mistake now and I'm not losing 1 place to Arthur, or, all right, I'm not battling with Arthur. I'm now losing 3, maybe 4. But yeah, I was struggling in that last race with instant limits. I finished on like 15 and no fuel. But yeah, just got to drive in my head a bit. Bless you.
Good job the stream can't hear that, as I'm muted in that process as well. But Mark, thank you so much for joining us there, bud. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, obviously all the boys at Altitude. It's cracking to to be teammating with Hedge, and obviously Longsy, stellar job as always. Kept me in the fight. Yeah, I got the call of, do you want to win or are we just making up numbers? So yeah, thank you, Longsy, for your persistence with me. And yeah, just you guys really enjoy watching the streams back. So yeah, thank you very much indeed.
Awesome stuff, Mark. Well, thanks so much for joining us there, bud. And I look forward to having a chat with you on Monday, no doubt.
All right, mate. Speak to you soon.
Take care, buddy. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Well, there you go, Callum. Another race done. Sum it up for us this evening. It's been incredible, right?
Yeah, there was a couple of incidents at the start of the race, but looking past that, it's probably been one of the best nights of racing we've had so far. There's a lot of mixing going on in the top sort of 8 cars, and especially within our top, well, what normally would be top 2. Now adding that into top 3, Watson getting the better of both drivers and getting the win there in the second race. So what a fantastic night I've had, and well, I have to admit, fantastic day of weather here in the UK, and rounded it off with fantastic racing like that. I can't complain. What a week it's been.
Yeah, it definitely has as well. And that is bringing us to the end of the broadcast. Yes, Mr. Dengle, you did finish third in the AMs, so well done to you. But for now, guys, from myself up here in the booth and Callum Mileham, don't forget to join us later. We have got so much racing later on. It is going to be crazy. As well, we've got the American Sim Racing League, the LSRL F1 and the Beer League TCRs, so don't forget to stay tuned for that one and join us a little bit later on. But for myself up here in the booth and Callum Mileham, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.